One of the greatest race horses of all time was a horse named Man O' War, who won 20 of the 21 races he competed in, a win rate of just over 95%. He did lose one race, however, the 1919 Sanford Memorial, where he finished second, and while you might not have heard of Man O' War before, you have heard of the horse that he lost to, Upset, who upset, hence the upset. A mystifying marvel for a sports fan to witness, when a systematically disadvantaged team defies all odds and everyone's expectations. The miracle on ice, the perfect upset, the upset at the big house, the helmet catch. There's a reason why most of these examples have vague-ass nicknames, because they're rare, iconic, statistical anomalies, and they don't happen very often, which, while disappointing on a narrative level, makes them all the more special when they do. Under the current playoff formats of the Big Four American sports, the lowest-ranked team has only made it to the championship 9 times and only won it thrice. This means that of the 3,300 or so teams who've competed under these formats, just 3 of them have completed an honest-to-God, last-to-first upset. It's a hard thing to do, because the best teams are the best for a reason. Through an entire season of play, they prove their pedigree. And while underdog stories are fun, more often than not in the real world, Goliath gets the best of David. But sometimes, once every blue moon, David rises up, stands his ground, and shows everyone why they never should have counted him out. That's precisely what's happening in NASCAR right now, as after the very first race of their very first in-season challenge, not a single bracket went unbusted. Mostly because of one man.
Can we all just agree it's a Hamlin race?
No we cannot. Dillon is in a situation of desperation. He has to win. I think desperation is going to show up in this bracket in different ways. So because he's going to be pushing to try and be towards the front and give himself an opportunity to win, Dillon
Wins it.
When it was first introduced to the NBA, the in-season tournament was seen as a sideshow, a lame-brained excuse to paint the courts and give out participation trophies, which, yeah, it kinda was, but it also produced a different brand of basketball, apart from, but still contributing to the team's quest for a title, as well as giving LeBron one more MVP on his way out. So when NASCAR announced they would have their own version of the tournament in 2025, it came as less of a surprise. Partly because Denny Hamlin had already established his own bracket challenge in years before with basically the same format, but also because this kind of competition was already an established norm. In the last 10 years, since NASCAR established playoffs as their means of crowning a champion, we've seen plenty of bracket busters make it way further than they should have. Take Ross Chastain. With just 2 wins on the year and in his whole career, not a whole lot of people expected much from him in the 2022 playoffs, but his mind-boggling move in Martinsville allowed him to advance to the championship, where he finished second in just his second full-time season. Or how about Ricky Stenhouse? His first 2 wins also came in the same year and also instilled little confidence that he would make any noise whatsoever, with most people having him out in the first round. But he would prove the doubters wrong by just barely squeaking into the second round past Ryan Newman. Oh, Ryan Newman. Despite having 0 wins and being ranked second to last heading into the very first NASCAR playoffs in 2014, he came dangerously close to breaking the whole system by finishing runner-up to Kevin Harvick in the championship race. A guy who once won 8 races in a season had his best points finish in a year where he didn't win at all. Damn, I hate the playoffs. But moving on. As shocking as it is to see the best teams struggle, it's equally as shocking to see the worst ones prevail, which is why the in-season challenge, pitting drivers against each other one-on-one until there's one left standing, it felt like a perfect fit. First were the 3 races that would set the order: Michigan, Mexico, and Pocono, where with an average finish of 1.5 across those 3 races, slightly exacerbated by him missing the race in Mexico, Denny Hamlin, who some would call the architect of the tournament, would claim the first seed, putting him up against the last seed, 32nd place Dillon. His average finish through those 3 races was a little bit worse, and that also wasn't a surprise. No disrespect to Ty, he seems like a great guy, but he's been in the Cup Series for over 10 years now, and in 266 starts, all he has to show for it is 8 top 10s, 2 top 5s, and 0 wins. As resumes go, that isn't much of one, but he's still here, and in this career we find a rare example of a dying breed in NASCAR. One that, at one time, accounted for most of its entrants, the journeyman. The kind of guy who, while never near the forefront competitively, keeps on pushing year after year, either to make a living or just out of love for what he's doing. It can be a fruitful job, but also a thankless one that Ty had the chance to avoid. As the grandson of a prominent car owner, he could have been very comfortable staying put with Pop Pop, but unlike his brother, he decided to do things his own way, be his own man. by helping Pop Pop's affiliates. Hey, they were still separate teams, okay? He might not have been the fastest or the flashiest, but Ty Dillon has always been a pretty safe driver. You could attribute that to his sponsor, but whatever the reason, he's only had 28 career DNFs, which, as a resident backmarker, ain't half bad. Put that up next to his brother's 48 DNFs, and you'll see who in the family is saving 15% or more. But that's not to say Ty hasn't made a splash. He looked like Lewis Hamilton in the Geico number 13 and drove the first ever race for Michael Jordan's team. He's even attempted to complete the Rainbow Challenge with all the backmarker teams. From Gaunt Brothers to Petty to Spire, nowhere seemed to be a good fit, with 2022 and 2023 being particularly rough years. And in 2024, it finally happened. He was out of a job. Well, for the most part. He still got some rides here and there, including a return to Pop Pop's team in Indianapolis, and then signed a deal to drive for Colleague Racing this year, where he's broken out like never before, collecting trophies and finally taking his place at the top of the chart. I'm just kidding, it's been more of the same. Hence the 32nd place ranking heading into the first race of the tourney at Atlanta. With the context that he hasn't won at any level of NASCAR competition in over 10 years and that he'd be facing off against one of the winningest drivers of his generation, not a lot of people gave him a chance. In fact, only 9% of prediction brackets had Ty beating Denny, and the betting odds didn't favor him either, giving him just a 34% chance of finishing ahead of Hamlin, which, to be honest, was being pretty generous. Despite a lap having yet to be run, it felt like a classic case of hydrogen bomb versus coughing baby, but some, more clairvoyant than others, saw the opportunity for an upset.
Ty Dillon has the chance to do the funniest thing ever.
Alas, about a quarter of the way into the race, the funny happened as when the stars aligned for Ty, the cars disaligned for Denny.
Big crash. Denny Hamlin involved.
Big
Like
crash.
Noah Gregson, Austin Cindric.
This massive crash ensured that technically, for the first time in sports history, a 32 seed knocked out the first.
All you Denny fans out there, I just knocked your favorite driver out.
He said it.
The following week, put up against the 2012 Cup champ Brad Keselowski on the streets of Chicago, things worked out once again.
Let's go on board with Brad K. Take a look at this. Oh my gosh.
That's a lot of damage.
Then, with just 8 left standing in Sonoma, Ty was pitted against Hendrick driver Alex Bowman, basically thermonuclear bomb versus fetus, but the 48 had an uncharacteristically off day, and on the final lap, while racing for 17th, Dillon seized his chance.
You see the beige car into the back bumper of the 48, moves him up to the middle.
Finally, at the Monster Mile in Dover, Ty once again went mano-a-mano with his competitor, John Hunter Nemechek. But after JHN got stuck a lap down while Dillon got the wave around, it was all settled. Ty Dillon, the 32nd ranked driver heading into the tournament, had made it to the championship.
Yeah, just being aggressive, man. Just being aggressive. Thanks, boss.
And now we're here in Indianapolis, home of the first NASCAR in-season championship, where Ty's final battle will come against Ty Gibbs, another grandson of a successful car owner. Unlike Dillon, Gibbs chose to stay under his grandpa's wing, which, to be fair, is a pretty good wing to be under. Although he hasn't won a race yet and is now over 100 starts at the Cup level, Ty Gibbs, unlike Ty Dillon, has actually competed for wins during this tournament, coming off 3 straight top 10s, including a runner-up finish in Chicago. Catching fire with one of the fastest cars in the field, all while showing complete disregard for anyone in his path, the second coming might be Dillon's greatest foe yet, although it is worth noting that his one and only Xfinity Series win came at this track in 2014, and in that lone race he ran for his grandfather last year, he outran Gibbs, finishing 19th to his 23rd.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
If Colleague brings him a capable car and the stars can align just one more time, there is a chance, slight chance, that we're about to witness the mother of all upsets in motorsports. The in-season challenge might just be another gimmick on the long list NASCAR has already attempted, but it clearly means something to a man who's had to grit and grind for very little all his career. It's absolutely perfect that a tournament tailor-made to give the mid-packers a fighting chance could produce one of the greatest underdog stories in the sport's history. And even if he doesn't win it all, I think Ty Dillon's run through the challenge deserves to be discussed, because in a time where being consistent means less than it ever has before, it's nice to see someone finally getting rewarded for it. So in conclusion, the challenge is fun, the playoffs still suck, and I just hope he wins it for that squirrel he hit in Michigan.
That's for you, Mr. Squirrel.